So, back from the VGC guide, and this time we're looking at Hisui and Samurott. This is the buff that the Pokemon needed. It got quite a few. Got the Dark typing to start off with, that's already an improvement. Got Sharpness as an ability, which means it can actually do some proper damage now. It couldn't do previously. And it also got Ceaseless Edge. Now you're going to be able to set spikes, essentially, for free. I do like the fact that they've nerfed it a little bit by having 90% accuracy. If it had 100% accuracy, this would be very, very strong. But the fact that it can miss is going to nerf it just a little bit, but it's still very strong. We've already seen that hazards are actually pretty good in VGC when they're set for free. Like when you get the Glamora getting the Toxic Spikes to be able to chip away at the opposing Pokemon. Just getting them for free is going to be very good. So Ceaseless Edge is going to be a very strong attack. And it's got the Bolt to be able to make use of Assault Vest very nicely. You've got priority in Sucker Punch / Aqua Jet, depending on which one you want. Aqua Jet is weaker, but consistent if they're not going for a offensive move or they're switching. But Sucker Punch is noticeably stronger, especially because you probably want to be going with the Terra Dark to be doing as much damage as you can. You can go for Terra Water also, because that's a slightly better defensive typing, and then your Water type attacks will do a little bit more damage. If you're going Terra Water, you should probably have Aqua Jet, but otherwise you're going to be able to do some consistent damage. Sacred Sword, coverage with the Dark to be able to hit past all the defense boosts as well. Razor Shell or Aqua Cutter, that's the big debate. So Aqua Cutter is 100% accurate. Razor Shell is 95. So the fact that it can miss is already a big plus for Aqua Cutter. But the 50% chance to lower defense is surely more significant than the slight increase to be able to get a critical hit. Like going from 4% crit chance to 12% crit chance, that's an 8% increase. This is a 50% chance to be able to do the same amount of damage on the next turn. Also, the Razor Shell is very slightly stronger. Factoring in Sharpness, it's now 7 base power stronger because of the 1.5 times multiplier. So Razor Shell will do a slight bit more damage, and it should be noticeable. So it's going to be a big debate. Aqua Cutter for absolute consistency, because then you don't, because Ceaseless Edge can miss, so then you don't want your other move to be able to miss. But Razor Shell is slightly stronger and a slightly better secondary effect. So as the format progresses, we'll have to see if people go for absolute consistency or just slightly extra firepower. I think if Razor Shell was 90% accurate, I would for sure go Aqua Cutter. But 95, that's generally good enough. Like, obviously, we've seen all the Icy Wind misses and the Snarl misses and all that. But, yeah, it's going to be slightly stronger and better ability. Secondary effect is what we're going for. The defense investment is so that you should be able to survive the standard investment on Iron Hand's Drain Punch, and then give yourself the best opportunity to live a Life Orb Fluttermane's Moonblast. So it's like a 37% chance to KO, but I did want reasonable attack investment. You can obviously drop it to get this absolute survival for Life Orb Fluttermane, but hitting the bump means you're going to do pretty reasonable damage with your attacks, and of course Sharpness is going to factor in on top of the attack EVs, so you get more for your buck than by going for the attack investment. So trying to keep it as high as possible while still having some reasonable bulk. Alternative with Samurott, it's fast enough. It's got base 85 speed. It's fast enough for Choice Scarf. You don't need your priority move anymore necessarily with the Choice Scarf anymore. So dropping it for Icy Wind for very good speed control as well is going to be good also. Because this is going to be able to outspeed quite a few Pokemon. Obviously not Regieleki, but everything else notable. Even Dragapult it outspeeds and can just Ceaseless Edge it first. And then you're going to be able to set up your spikes very quickly as well. So this is definitely an alternative that is worthwhile on Samurott. So yeah, very, very flexible in the fact that it's not just locked into one of these sets. Either of these is going to be very good. And I didn't think that I would be saying that Samurott is going to be a very good Pokemon, but here we are.